Dr. Ilara Venn wiped the sweat from her brow, the alien sun beating down mercilessly on the excavation site. The rust-colored soil of Proxima Centauri crunched beneath her boots as she made her way to the latest find. Her team had been working tirelessly for months, uncovering what appeared to be the remnants of an ancient alien outpost. Dr. Venn, her assistant, Kai, called out excitedly, "You need to see this." Ilara quickened her pace, her heart racing with anticipation. As she approached the dig site, she saw it. A gleaming metallic structure, partially unearthed, its surface unmarred by the passage of time. "It's remarkable," she breathed, running her hand along the smooth, cool surface. "No signs of corrosion or wear. What is this material?" Kai shook his head, equally mystified. "We've never seen anything like it. The scans can't even penetrate it." As they continued to excavate, more of the structure was revealed. It was roughly cylindrical, about 3 meters in diameter and 5 meters tall. Strange, intricate patterns adorned its surface, pulsing with a faint, bluish light. "It's active," Ilara murmured, her scientific mind racing with possibilities. Suddenly, a section of the cylinder slid open, revealing a dimly lit interior. The team gathered around, a mix of excitement and apprehension on their faces. "Kai, get the portable scanner," Ilara ordered, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "We need to document everything before we proceed." As Kai hurried off, Ilara cautiously approached the opening. The interior was lined with what looked like control panels, covered in symbols unlike any alien language they had encountered before. "Dr. Venn," one of her colleagues called out, "I think I've found something." Ilara turned to see Dr. Yuki Tanaka pointing at a particular section of the control panel. There, amidst the alien script, was a symbol that made her breath catch in her throat. A stylized representation of the Milky Way galaxy. "It can't be," Ilara whispered. Before she could ponder the implications, a low hum emanated from the structure. The symbols began to glow brighter, and a holographic display flickered to life in the center of the chamber. "Everyone, step back," Ilara shouted, but her warning came too late. A pulse of energy burst forth from the device, knocking them all off their feet. As Ilara struggled to her knees, she saw the hologram had stabilized into a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. A single point of light pulsed urgently at the outer edge of one spiral arm. "It's a beacon," Kai said, helping Ilara to her feet. But signaling what? And to whom? Little did they know that their discovery had set in motion events that would reshape the galaxy. Millions of light years away, in the cold, dark void between galaxies, something stirred. A massive structure, dwarfing even the largest space stations, began to power up. Lights flickered on across its surface, illuminating the name emblazoned on its hull. UNSS Phoenix. Inside the ship, cryostasis pods hissed open, releasing their occupants from millennia of frozen sleep. Admiral Zara Chen gasped as she took her first breath in 500,000 years, her mind reeling from the lingering effects of stasis. "Status report," she croaked, her voice hoarse from disuse. The ship's AI responded immediately, its voice calm and efficient. "Admiral, the emergency beacon has been activated. The fleet is awakening as per protocol." Zara's eyes widened as memories came flooding back. The war, the desperate plan, the sacrifice of billions to give humanity one last chance. "How long?" she asked, dreading the answer. 500,637 years, 3 months, and 17 days since initiation of the Lazarus Protocol, Admiral. Zara closed her eyes, letting the weight of that number sink in. Everyone she had ever known, everything she had fought for, was now dust in the cosmic wind. But the threat that had driven them to such desperate measures, had it passed, or had they awakened to face it once more? As more of the crew awakened, Zara made her way to the bridge. The massive view screen showed thousands of ships, each as large as the Phoenix, powering up around them. The last fleet of humanity, hidden away in the darkness between galaxies, was rising from its long slumber. "Admiral on deck," someone called out as she entered the bridge. The crew, still groggy from stasis, snapped to attention. "At ease," Zora said, taking her place in the command chair. "Begin full system diagnostics. I want to know our combat readiness." As her orders were carried out, Zara studied the star charts. The galaxy had changed in their absence. Stars had died, new ones had been born, and the spiral arms had rotated significantly. "Ma'am," her tactical officer reported, "long-range scans are detecting multiple civilizations within the Milky Way. None match known profiles from our database." Zara nodded, unsurprised. 500,000 years was more than enough time for new species to rise and fall. "Any sign of the obsidian swarm?" The officer shook his head. "No, Admiral. No trace of their energy signatures or technology." A mix of relief and unease washed over Zara. Had their ancient enemy truly been defeated, or were they simply hiding, as humanity had done? "Admiral," the communications officer interrupted, "we're receiving a transmission from the beacon. It's human." Zara leaned forward, her heart pounding. "Put it through." The view screen flickered, showing a dust-covered woman in an excavation suit. "This is Dr. Ilara Venn of the Proxima Centauri Archaeological Expedition. We've discovered an alien artifact of unknown origin. If anyone can hear this, please respond. We need help understanding what we found." Zara exchanged glances with her senior staff. After 500,000 years, humanity had not only survived but had spread to the stars. Yet they seemed to have no knowledge of their own hidden protectors. "Prepare a response," Zara ordered. "It's time for the Lazarus fleet to return home." As the Phoenix and its sister ships began their long journey back to the Milky Way, Zora couldn't shake the feeling that they were heading towards a reunion not just with their descendants, but with the very threat they had sacrificed everything to escape. The Lazarus fleet was awake, and the galaxy would never be the same again. First contact. The Lazarus fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system, a breathtaking armada of sleek, dark vessels that seemed to absorb the very starlight around them. Admiral Zara Chen stood on the bridge of the USS Phoenix, her eyes fixed on the viewscreen showing a blue-green world, humanity's first extrasolar colony. "Incoming transmission from the planet, Admiral," the communications officer reported. "Put it through," Zara ordered, straightening her uniform. The screen flickered to life, revealing a stern-faced man in a crisp military uniform. "This is General Alexander Volkov of the Proxima Defense Force. Unidentified fleet, you have entered restricted space. Identify yourselves immediately or face hostile action." Zara took a deep breath. This was the moment they had prepared for, yet nothing could truly ready them for reuniting with a humanity 500,000 years removed from their own. "General Volkov, I am Admiral Zara Chen of the United Nations Starship Phoenix. We are the Lazarus fleet, awakened from long-term stasis by a beacon activated on your world. We come in peace and seek to make contact with Dr. Ilara Venn." Volkov's eyes widened in disbelief. "Lazarus fleet? There's no record of any such. Wait, did you say stasis?" Before Zara could respond, alarms blared across the bridge. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace. "Admiral," her tactical officer shouted, "energy signatures don't match any known human designs." The view screen split, showing a new fleet of biomechanical ships entering the system. Their organic-looking hulls pulsed with an eerie green bioluminescence. "By the stars," Volkov breathed. "It's the Luminary. They've found us." Zara's mind raced. "General, who are the Luminary?" "An alien race we encountered 2 years ago. Initial contact was peaceful, but relations have deteriorated. They believe we've trespassed on their ancestral domains." Volkov's face hardened. "And now they've brought a war fleet to our doorstep." The comm channel crackled with a new voice, mellifluous yet underlined with menace. "Humans of Proxima, your time of judgment has come. Surrender your colony and withdraw to your home system, or face eradication. Zara exchanged glances with her senior staff. They had awakened to find humanity embroiled in a conflict they knew nothing about. Yet their purpose was clear: to protect their species at all costs. "General Volkov," Zara said, her voice steady, "with your permission, we stand ready to assist in the defense of Proxima Centauri." Volkov hesitated only for a moment before nodding. "Permission granted, Admiral. God knows we need the help." Zara turned to her crew, her eyes blazing with determination. "Battle stations, all ships, assume defensive formation around the planet. Weapons free, but do not fire unless fired upon." The Lazarus fleet moved with a fluid grace that belied their massive size, forming an impenetrable barrier between Proxima and the approaching luminary forces. "Luminary fleet," Zara broadcast on an open channel. "This is Admiral Chen of the Lazarus fleet. We request that you withdraw immediately. This colony is under our protection." For a tense moment, there was silence. Then, without warning, the luminary ships opened fire. Beams of sickly green energy lanced out towards the Lazarus fleet. "Evasive maneuvers," Zara shouted. "Return fire, target their weapon systems only." The space around Proxima Centauri erupted into chaos. The Lazarus fleet's advanced point defense systems intercepted most of the incoming fire, while their own weapons, technologies lost to modern humanity, tore through the luminaries' organic hulls with terrifying precision. On the planet below, Dr. Ilara Venn watched the battle unfold through her lab's telescope, her heart pounding. The alien artifact they had uncovered lay partially dismantled behind her, its secrets still largely unknown. "What have we done?" she whispered, realizing that their discovery had brought both saviors and destroyers to their doorstep. Back in space, the luminary pressed their attack, their ships displaying an unsettling ability to regenerate damage. Yet the Lazarus fleet held firm, their advanced shields and weaponry keeping the aliens at bay. "Admiral," Zara's tactical officer reported, "we're detecting a power buildup in the Luminary flagship. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Before Zara could respond, a massive pulse of energy erupted from the alien vessel, washing over the Lazarus fleet. Ships began to lose power, their systems overloaded by the strange radiation. "Reroute all power to shields," Zara ordered. "Engineering, I need those systems back online now." As her crew fought to regain control, Zara saw an opportunity. The Luminary flagship was vulnerable after its massive energy discharge. "All functioning ships, concentrate fire on the enemy flagship," she commanded. "Let's show them what the Lazarus fleet can really do." The remaining operational ships of the fleet coordinated their attack with a synchronicity born from centuries of simulated battles during their long sleep. Beams of hyper-accelerated particles converged on the Luminary flagship, bypassing its weakened defenses and striking at its core. The alien ship shuddered, green fire erupting from multiple breaches in its hull. With a silent scream of twisting metal and burning organic matter, the flagship split apart, its destruction sending shockwaves through the Luminary fleet. Seizing the moment, Zara opened a channel to the remaining alien ships. "Luminary forces, your flagship is destroyed. Withdraw now or face complete annihilation." For several tense seconds, the battle hung in balance. Then, one by one, the Luminary ships began to retreat, jumping to hyperspace until only debris remained as evidence of the fierce battle. As the adrenaline of combat faded, Zara slumped in her command chair, the weight of their actions settling upon her. They had saved the colony, yes, but at what cost? Their reemergence had escalated a conflict they barely understood, and the technologies they wielded were clearly beyond anything this era had seen. "Admiral," her communications officer said softly, "we're receiving a priority transmission from the surface. It's Dr. Ilara Venn." Zara nodded, bracing herself for what was to come. As Ilara's face appeared on screen, eyes wide with a mix of awe and apprehension, Zara knew that the real challenge was just beginning. The Lazarus fleet had announced its presence to the galaxy in the most dramatic way possible, and the repercussions would echo across the stars. Uncovering the truth. Admiral Zara Chen stood in the cavernous hangar bay of the UNSS Phoenix, watching as the shuttle carrying Dr. Ilara Ven and General Volkov touched down. The aftermath of the battle with the Luminary had left everyone on edge, and Zara knew that the coming conversation would shape the future of human-Lazarus fleet relations. As Ilara and Volkov disembarked, Zara couldn't help but notice the mix of wonder and trepidation in their eyes as they took in the advanced technology surrounding them. "Welcome aboard the Phoenix," Zara greeted them, extending her hand. "I'm Admiral Chen. We have much to discuss." Ilara shook her hand firmly, her scientific curiosity evident. "Admiral, the technology you possess, it's beyond anything we've ever seen. How is this possible?" Zara led them towards a conference room, her expression grave. "That's a long and complicated story, Doctor. One that begins over 500,000 years ago." As they settled into the conference room, Zora activated a holographic display showing the Milky Way galaxy. "What I'm about to tell you may be hard to believe, but it's crucial you understand the gravity of our situation." Over the next hour, Zara recounted the history of the Lazarus fleet, how an ancient and implacable enemy, known as the Obsidian Swarm, had nearly wiped out humanity 500,000 years ago. In a desperate gambit, the last remnants of human civilization had created the Lazarus fleet, placing their best and brightest in stasis to awaken when the time was right to reclaim their home. "But why didn't you leave any records?" Volkov asked, his brow furrowed. "Surely you could have hidden some information for future generations to find." Zara shook her head. "We couldn't risk the Obsidian Swarm finding any trace of our plan. Total information blackout was necessary for our survival." As Zara spoke, fragmented memories began to surface, flashes of a war so devastating it scared the very fabric of space-time. She winced, pressing her hand to her temple. Ilara noticed the Admiral's discomfort. "Are you all right, Admiral?" "Just remnants of the stasis process," Zara said, trying to focus. "Our memories were suppressed to prevent cognitive decay over the centuries. They're returning, but slowly and incompletely." Ilara's eyes widened with realization. "The artifact we found, it must be connected to your fleet somehow. It's what woke you up." Zara nodded. "A fail-safe beacon designed to activate if human civilization ever reached a certain technological threshold again. But its activation may have done more than just wake us up." She pulled up another holographic display, this one showing strange energy readings from across the galaxy. "We've detected unusual quantum fluctuations in several sectors. At first we thought it was a sensor malfunction, but now—" "You think it's the Obsidian Swarm," Volkov finished, his face pale. "It's a possibility we can't ignore," Zora confirmed. "If they're returning, we need to be prepared." As they discussed the implications of this revelation, alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. Zora's comm badge chirped urgently. "Admiral," her tactical officer's voice came through. "We're detecting a massive energy surge in the Oort cloud. Something's coming through." They rushed to the bridge, arriving just in time to see a colossal structure materialize at the edge of the solar system. It was like nothing they had ever seen, a vast, crystalline lattice that seemed to bend light around it. "By the stars," Ilara breathed. "What is that?" Zara's face was grim as another memory surfaced. "It's a nexus gate. The Obsidian Swarm used them to travel vast distances instantly. We destroyed every one we could find before we went into stasis." "Admiral," her science officer reported, "we're picking up thousands of small objects emerging from the gate. They're heading straight for Proxima Centauri." Volkov turned to Zara, his military training kicking in. "What are we dealing with, Admiral? What exactly is this Obsidian Swarm?" Zara's eyes never left the view screen as she answered, her voice heavy with the weight of ancient battles. "They're a silicon-based life form, General. Intelligent crystals that consume entire worlds to replicate. They don't negotiate, they don't show mercy, and they never, ever stop. As they watched, the swarm of crystalline objects approached the planet with frightening speed. Zara knew they had only moments to act. "Battle stations," she ordered. "All ships form a defensive perimeter around the planet. We can't let a single one of those things reach the surface." As the Lazarus fleet moved to intercept the threat, Zara turned to Ilara and Volkov. "I'm sorry, but your world is now on the front lines of a war that began before your civilization existed. Whatever happens next, know that we'll do everything in our power to protect humanity." The bridge erupted into a flurry of activity as the crew prepared for battle. Zara took her place in the command chair, her mind racing with half-remembered strategies and the weight of countless lives hanging in the balance. As the first wave of the obsidian swarm came into range, Zara gave the order that would once again plunge humanity into a conflict that spanned eons. "All ships, open fire. The eternal war begins anew." Building alliances. The aftermath of the obsidian swarm's initial assault left Proxima Centauri scared but intact. The Lazarus fleet's advanced weaponry had managed to destroy the majority of the crystalline invaders before they could reach the planet's surface. However, Admiral Zara Chen knew this was only the beginning. In the weeks that followed, Zara found herself in an unenviable position. The reemergence of the Lazarus fleet and the return of the obsidian swarm had sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The United Earth government demanded explanations. Alien races viewed the ancient human fleet with suspicion, and the Luminary were calling for retribution. Zara stood before a holo-projection of the Galactic Council, a coalition of the most powerful species in the Milky Way. Her uniform was immaculate, but the dark circles under her eyes betrayed the strain of recent events. "Members of the Council," she began, her voice steady, "I stand before you today not just as a representative of the Lazarus fleet, but as a harbinger of a threat that endangers us all. The obsidian swarm is real, and they are coming for every living being in this galaxy." Murmurs rippled through the assembled alien representatives. The luminary ambassador, a bioluminescent being named Zixtal, spoke up first. "How convenient that this ancient enemy should appear just as your fleet of superweapons awakens," Zixtal sneered. "Perhaps this is merely a ploy to justify your aggression against peaceful races like our own." Zara's eyes narrowed. "With all due respect, Ambassador, your attack on Proxima Centauri was hardly peaceful, but that's beside the point. The swarm is a threat to everyone, Luminary included. If what you say is true," a reptilian saurian representative hissed, "why should we trust you? Your fleet's technology far surpasses anything in the known galaxy. How do we know you won't turn on us once this supposed threat is dealt with?" Dr. Ilara Venn, who had been granted permission to attend the council as a scientific advisor, stepped forward. "Council members, I've studied the Lazarus fleet's historical records. The threat is real, and we need to stand united." The debate raged for hours, with various factions arguing for and against an alliance. Zara could feel the weight of history on her shoulders. She knew that without a united front, the galaxy stood no chance against the obsidian swarm. Finally, the Andromedian representative, a being of pure energy contained within a humanoid shell, spoke. "We have deliberated and come to a decision. The Lazarus fleet will be granted provisional authority to coordinate our defenses against this obsidian swarm. However, a coalition task force will be formed to oversee your activities and ensure you do not abuse this power." Zara nodded, relief washing over her. It wasn't ideal, but it was a start. "Thank you, Council. We accept your terms." As the meeting adjourned, Zara and Ilara made their way back to the Phoenix. "That could have gone worse," Ilara offered. "It could have gone better, too," Zara sighed. "But at least we have a foundation to build on." Over the next few months, Zara worked tirelessly to forge alliances and prepare the galaxy's defenses. The Lazarus fleet shared some of its technology, carefully balancing the need to upgrade the Coalition's capabilities against the risk of their advanced weapons falling into the wrong hands. Research teams, led by Dr. Venn, worked around the clock to understand the Obsidian swarm and develop new ways to combat them. The artifact that had awakened the Lazarus fleet proved to be a treasure trove of information, revealing secrets about the swarm's weaknesses and strategies. But not everything went smoothly. Sabotage attempts by luminary extremists nearly derailed a crucial defense platform installation. Political infighting among Coalition members threatened to fracture the alliance before it could be properly forged. Through it all, Zara remained focused on the bigger picture. She knew that every setback, every delay, gave the Obsidian swarm more time to gather their strength. One evening, as Zara was reviewing battle plans in her quarters, her second-in-command, Captain Hiroki Sato, entered with a grave expression. "Admiral, we've just received word from our long-range scouts," he said, his voice tight. "A massive swarm fleet has been detected in the Aquarius Void. They'll reach populated space within a month." Zara's blood ran cold. She had hoped for more time, but fate had other plans. "Alert the Council. It's time to put our preparations to the test." As alarms sounded throughout the Phoenix and emergency transmissions were sent across the galaxy, Zara allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection. The coming battle would determine the fate of not just humanity, but all sentient life in the Milky Way. She thought of the billions of souls who had sacrificed everything to give the Lazarus fleet this chance, of the new allies who had put their trust in her despite their misgivings, of Dr. Venn and the countless others working tirelessly to give them a fighting chance. Zara Chen, Admiral of the Lazarus fleet, last guardian of an ancient legacy, and now the linchpin of a galactic alliance, stood up straight and strode towards the bridge. The final battle was approaching, and she would meet it head-on. As she took her place in the command chair, Zara's voice rang out clear and strong. "All ships, prepare for departure. We make our stand at the edge of the Aquarius Void. For the future of all life in this galaxy, we must not fail." The Lazarus fleet, accompanied by the most powerful ships the Coalition could muster, jumped to hyperspace. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and the final confrontation with the Obsidian swarm loomed on the horizon. The final stand. The combined fleet of the Galactic Alliance dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Aquarius Void, a vast expanse of seemingly empty space that marked the border between the known galaxy and the uncharted depths beyond. Admiral Zara Chen stood on the bridge of the UNSS Phoenix, her eyes fixed on the main view screen. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the tension that filled the air. Captain Sato responded promptly. "All ships accounted for, Admiral. The luminary battle groups are taking up flanking positions, and the Saurian dreadnoughts are moving to reinforce our center line." Zara nodded, her mind racing through countless battle scenarios. The fleet before her represented the greatest concentration of firepower the galaxy had ever seen, yet she knew it might not be enough. Dr. Ilara Venn approached, holding a datapad. "Admiral, we've finished analyzing the data from the artifact. We believe we found a weakness in the swarm's hive mind structure." Before Zara could respond, alarms blared across the bridge. "Multiple contacts detected," the sensor officer shouted. "Obsidian swarm signatures, massive numbers. By the stars, they're everywhere." The void before them seemed to come alive, countless crystalline structures materializing out of the darkness. Each shard pulsed with an otherworldly energy, and at their center loomed a structure of impossible size, the swarm's main hive mind. "All ships, battle formation Delta," Zara ordered, her voice carrying across all allied frequencies. "Remember your training. Hit them hard and fast. Don't let them regroup." The battle erupted in a dazzling display of destructive power. Antimatter torpedoes and gravitic lances lashed out from the Alliance ships, shattering the smaller swarm crystals. But for every one destroyed, two more seemed to take its place. The luminary bioships darted between the crystal formations, their organic weapons secreting corrosive acids that ate through the swarm's silicon structure. Saurian dreadnoughts unleashed devastating barrages, their scaled hulls deflecting the swarm's energy attacks. Yet despite their best efforts, the Alliance found itself slowly being pushed back. The sheer number of swarm entities was overwhelming, and their ability to reform and adapt seemed limitless. "Admiral," Captain Sato reported, his voice strained, "we're losing ships fast. The Andromedian flank is collapsing, and our center can't hold much longer." Zara's mind raced. They needed a game-changer, something to turn the tide. Her eyes fell on Dr. Ven's datapad, still clutched in the scientist's hands. "Doctor, you said you found a weakness. What exactly did you discover?" Ilara's eyes lit up with understanding. "The hive mind, Admiral. It uses quantum entanglement to coordinate the swarm. If we could disrupt that connection, we could shatter their unity," Zara finished. She turned to her tactical officer. "Prepare a quantum resonance bomb. We'll need to deliver it directly to the hive mind structure." The tactical officer paled. "Admiral, at this range, the bomb would take out half our fleet as well." Zara's expression hardened. "Then we'll just have to get closer." She opened a channel to the entire fleet. "All ships, this is Admiral Chen. We're initiating Operation Sunbreak. Fall back to secondary positions and prepare for a fighting retreat. The Phoenix will spearhead a strike on the enemy's core." Protests immediately flooded the comm channels, but Zara cut them off. "This is not up for debate. The fate of the galaxy hangs in the balance. We cannot fail." As the Allied ships began their coordinated withdrawal, drawing the bulk of the swarm with them, the Phoenix and a small escort of the most advanced Lazarus vessels pushed forward. The journey to the hive mind was a gauntlet of unimaginable danger. Swarm crystals battered the Phoenix from all sides, its advanced shields flickering under the assault. Zara watched as escort ships sacrificed themselves, drawing fire away from the flagship. Finally, they reached their target. The hive mind loomed before them, a crystalline structure larger than a small moon, pulsing with malevolent intelligence. "Now, Doctor," Zara shouted. Ilara activated the quantum resonance bomb, its energy building to critical levels. But as the Phoenix prepared to launch the weapon, a massive energy surge from the hive mind rocked the ship. "Direct hit to our launch systems," Sato reported. "We can't eject the bomb." Zara's mind raced, knowing they had seconds to act. In that moment, she remembered why the Lazarus fleet had been created, to safeguard the future of humanity at any cost. "All hands, abandon ship," she ordered, her voice calm. "Dr. Ven, Captain Sato, get to the escape pods. I'll pilot the Phoenix manually." Realization dawned on her crew's faces. "Admiral, no," Ilara protested. "That's an order," Zara said firmly. "The galaxy is in your hands now. Make it count." As the last of the crew evacuated, Zara took manual control of the Phoenix. With expert precision, she maneuvered the massive ship towards the heart of the hive mind. "For Earth, for humanity, for the future," she whispered. The Phoenix plunged into the crystalline structure, the quantum resonance bomb detonating on impact. A blinding light engulfed everything. And for a moment, the entire battlefield fell silent. When the light faded, the hive mind was gone. Across the battlefield, swarm crystals began to lose cohesion, their coordinated attacks dissolving into chaos. The Alliance ships, rallying behind the Lazarus fleet's sacrifice, pressed their advantage. Hour by hour, the tide of battle turned. Without their central intelligence, the swarm became disorganized, easy prey for the united forces of the galaxy. In the aftermath of the battle, as the Allied fleet picked through the debris of friend and foe alike, Dr. Ilara Ven stood on the bridge of the luminary ship, watching the stars. The victory had come at a terrible cost, but the galaxy was safe. Captain Sato approached, his face solemn. "The Council is hailing us, Doctor. They're requesting a full report." Ilara nodded, squaring her shoulders. Tell them the Lazarus fleet has fulfilled its ancient duty. And now, it's up to us, all of us, to build the future they sacrificed everything to protect. As she prepared to address the council, Ilara's thoughts turned to Admiral Zara Chen and the countless others who had given their lives in this eternal war. Their sacrifice would not be in vain. The galaxy had been given a second chance, and she was determined to make the most of it. The threat of the Obsidian Swarm was ended, but the legacy of the Lazarus fleet would live on, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity and the power of unity in the face of cosmic peril. As the stars twinkled in the vast expanse of space, a new era dawned for the Milky Way, one of peace, cooperation, and endless possibilities.